welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyla, and I have something a little old school for you today. Yep, today we are going to be doing a good old book tag. I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while, and look, I'm an old school, OG YouTube watcher where tags were all of the rage. When I was watching YouTube, it was tag this, or doing collab videos and that kind of thing. That's the day and age that I watch YouTube. I'm aging myself by saying that, but I just love a good tag, okay? They're a quick way to give a lot of great recommendations, and I'm definitely someone that needs a prompt or something to be able to give a recommendation. If someone's like, hey, give me a recommendation, I'm like, well, that's a little vague. So I love tags to be able to prompt me to be like, yes, you need to read this book. So as you can see by the title, we are going to be doing the Splendid Spring book tag today because I am just fully immersed in spring right now. I am an autumn gal, but when it comes to this time of year and everything starts to get green again and we start to see flowers again, it just it lights me up. It lights me up. It makes me feel so freaking productive, and I just love this time of year. It's a fresh start, and I can just feel all of the spring vibes today. So I thought it would be perfect to do a spring book tag. So we have the Splendid Spring book tag for you. I will have the original creator linked below, of course, as well as the questions listed out. I have them here on my phone. I have a bunch of books laid out in front of me, so let's just go ahead and get started. So number one is Everywhere You Look, Flowers Are Blooming. Choose a book you love or you think you will love with flowers on the cover. And this was so easy for me because I recently read this book and absolutely fell in love with it, and know it's going to be one of my top favorite books of the year, and that is A Fragile Enchantment by Allison Saft. This is like Bridgerton in a book, specifically season 2 of Bridgerton with Anthony and Kate. If you loved their dynamic and their tension and their anger towards each other and just the way they were around each other, you will love this book. And the romance that blooms inside of it, it is so good. It has all of the Regency vibes that you could want. It has this gorgeous cover with a ton of flowers on it. It is absolutely stunning. I am obsessed with this cover so much. Whenever I look at it, it just makes me so happy. I can't help but smile at it. In this book, we are following Neve, and Neve is a seamstress, but she also has magic within her that she can actually sew into the clothing and the fabric that she is working on, which is just so cool. I loved that part of her character, and she is enlisted by the royals to create the wardrobes for this royal wedding that is going to be happening. And of course, things go off from there. She meets certain people within the family, and as you can imagine, things happen, and I just loved it. I love all the side characters in this book. I loved the romance. I loved the tension. I loved the deeper meaning behind everything. I just absolutely love this book. If you haven't read it yet and you love the Regency vibes, you love Bridgerton, you will love this, and I need you to read it. Number 2 is Spring is the Perfect Time for a Fun Trip. Choose a book you've read or would like to read while traveling from one place to another. And this one was, again, so easy for me to choose because I actually have this book on my TBR, and I feel like it is the perfect travel book. And I think it's more so the title is doing that for me, but it is A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeek. I'm not sure how you say his last name. I apologize, Mr. Douglas. I have heard this book compared to Addie LaRue, which if you have read Addie LaRue, you know she goes off on an adventure through time. So I just feel like that is kind of the perfect premise for a travel book, or a book to read while traveling, as someone that is also on an adventure of some sort. And honestly, the blurb inside of here just explains it perfectly. It says, a dazzlingly epic novel that charts the incredible, adventurous life of one woman as she journeys through the globe, trying to outrun a mysterious curse that will destroy her if she ever stops moving. So it's like she's constantly on the go, trying to avoid this curse, and it's just giving all of the Addie LaRue, but also all of the adventure as well. So I just feel like this is going to be the perfect book to read while traveling. I don't have a trip planned in the springtime, but I do have a trip planned in the summer, and I feel like I'm going to bring this one on that trip because I just feel like it's going to be the perfect time to read it. So this had to be the answer to that question. I cannot wait to read it. If you've read this already, please let me know what you thought in the comments. I am dying to know because I don't see a lot of people talking about this yet, and I know it just came out recently, but I just want to hear all of the things. And then number 3 is who doesn't love a good spring fling? Choose a book you were obsessed with for a short period of time, but then you swiftly cast aside. And this one I had to think about for a second because I am definitely one that when I get obsessed with a book, I am obsessed with that book. And like, I don't really cast it aside. You guys know if you've watched my videos, like I talk a lot about the same books over and over again. You guys know what books like I am a stan for. So it was hard for me to like come up with an answer for this. So I picked 2 books that I loved a lot, but didn't talk about as much as maybe I would have normally. So that's kind of how I decided to answer this question. And the first one is Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. I loved this, you guys. I thought this was so fun. This is definitely my kind of horror. It's fun, it's lighthearted, it's funny, it is dark, there are some like really creepy things that happen, but overall the tone of it is more funny than it is like seemingly disturbing, and that's my kind of horror. I actually read this on our beach vacation last year, and it was the perfect beach read. I don't know what it is about it, but I was like, this is the perfect time to be reading it. It feels like the perfect summer horror. Even though it doesn't take place in the summertime, it just felt like that, and it just was such a fun reading experience. My book actually still smells like sunscreen, which also just makes me so happy. I love when that happens with my books on vacation, when like they hold the smell of the vacation. Oh, that's just a whole nother level of like amazing. But yeah, I love this and definitely did not talk about it enough at the time. Like I think I talked about it in a wrap up, maybe in a vlog, I'm not sure, but it definitely did not get the attention that it deserved, and I had a blast with this. Essentially, this is about 4 suburban moms. They all live within the same neighborhood, and one night they all get together for their little wine night that they usually have. There's usually snacks or whatever. And one of them goes out into the backyard, something happens, and she comes back like not quite herself, and then things get worse and worse and worse, and these moms have to try to figure out what to do. And again, it's just like over the top, it's hilarious, it's funny, but it also is really dark and creepy. There were some scenes that I definitely like outwardly gagged and I just had a great time with it. So I had to say this one. And then another one that I loved that I definitely didn't talk about enough. It was on my favorites list, but I feel like there were so many books last year that like made it to the top of my favorites list that I highlighted more and that I've talked about more. But that is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This book is pure magic. It's pure magic. It just makes you feel. It really hits your inner child quite a lot. It is quite healing for your inner child, and I just had a great time while reading this. This is also very sad and goes very deep and really gets to like the core of your feelings. I definitely got teary while reading this book, but it also equally made me smile, and I loved the kind of adventure that we were on and trying to like solve puzzles with the characters on Clock Island, and I just loved it, but I also loved the various aspects of this book, and I just feel like I did not talk about this enough, and like my absolute love for it and how healing it really was. And that's saying a lot, because this is coming from someone, a very heavy theme in this book is this woman wants to adopt this little boy, but she really can't afford it. Like, she wants to be a mom, but specifically to this little boy, and like, I don't have the desire to be a mother. That's not something that I long for, but even that storyline really struck a chord with me, and I just really felt for her. And I think that's one thing that this book did really well. It was just like really getting to your feelings, but like doing it in a fun way. I don't know how to describe it, but I just had a great time, and I love this book so much. It's one that I think about all of the time, and I definitely didn't talk about it enough. This next question made me laugh out freaking loud. Number 4 is everyone loves the smell of freshly mowed grass. Facts. But not at an ungodly hour. Choose a book that personifies a middle-aged man waking up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday to mow the lawn when he should be sleeping. Like the rest of us. Like, oh my gosh, this question is so specific, and it's such a specific feeling to me that is like outrage. Like, that is infuriating, right? That is annoying. That is the feeling that this question invokes to me. So really, there was only one answer that I could think of that made me feel those things while I was reading it, and it was The Fury by Alex Michaelides, because the characters in this book are so annoying. So absolutely, indescribably annoying. I don't know how to really go into more detail other than that. This book is about a group of friends. We have a famous actress at the head of things, and she invites her group of friends to her Grecian island for the Easter weekend, and seemingly someone gets murdered while on the island, and they're trying to figure out. But this friend group has so many layers, and there's a definitely twist and turn, so we're solving the mystery. But oh my word, did I not like a single one of these characters. Like, maybe one. Maybe I can get behind the main character's housekeeper. I liked her. Other than that, I did not like any of these characters, and every single chapter, every single thing that they did, it just enraged me a little bit more. And so I feel like this is the perfect question. It's infuriating. This book is absolutely infuriating, and that's the same feeling that I would get if someone was being too loud on a Saturday morning. So that's my answer for that one. Question number 5 is a surprise rain shower might spoil your outdoor fun, but don't worry, the sun will be back. Choose a book that made you really sad, but the sun still shines in the end. These questions are so descriptive, and I freaking love it because it really allows you to get really specific with your answers. And for this one, I had to go with The Dead Romantics. This book is heartbreak personified, but in a fun and lighthearted way, and that is exactly what this question is. Like, it made me so sad while reading it, but it also equally made me so happy at the same time, and we do get that sunshine ending that you want, kind of, sort of, partly. It all works in the end, and I just really, really, really loved this one. This book is about Florence, our main character. Her family owns like a mortuary kind of situation, and unfortunately at the beginning of the book, and this is not a spoiler, her father passes away, so she has to go back to her hometown to kind of deal with that and deal with her family and that kind of thing. Seemingly there's also a bit of a romance and something that happens at the beginning of this book and carries through the entire book, so we're kind of dealing with grief and family while we're also having this romance happen in an unconventional way. And again, you know, it's serious because her father passes away, and that's something that really hits me to my core because I'm very close with my dad, so that was just like I don't know if I can do this. But it was beautiful and so well done and just made me feel all of the things. And I also just really love the connections she has with her other family members and like as they're trying to navigate this. And they do it in such a quirky, unconventional way, but also just like true to themselves. And I really loved their family dynamic. And I also just love the unconventionalness of the romance and like the banter and the bickering and everything like that back and forth. And then again, I loved the ending of this. It was beautiful. I wouldn't have it any other way. Also, this cover just screams spring. So I just feel like this is the perfect like sadness, but also so much joy and happiness at the same time, and I cannot recommend this book enough. Number 6 is It's That Time of Year When All the Animals Stretch Their Limbs and Come Out of Hibernation. Choose a book that pulled you out of a reading slump. Now, I have been lucky enough, knock on wood, that I haven't gone through like a huge reading slump. I think that's because I'm very much a mood reader, so I just read what feels good in the moment and I'm not like stuck to my guns or put a lot of pressure on that. I used to do that, but now more so. Anyways, I haven't gone through a reading slump in a long time. However, I picked a book that I know would get me out of a reading slump if I was in one because of how much, one, I loved it, but how fast I freaking read this book. It was uncanny. Like, I just flew through it, and this might be a me thing. This is definitely a niche kind of book, but it's The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I absolutely love this book, and it's because I am absolutely obsessed with Criminal Minds. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, TV show. I watch it all of the time. It is a problem, but not at the same time. I just absolutely love it. And this is like Criminal Minds, but in book form. This is a YA, and we are following this group of kids, or teens, as they are recruited by the FBI for their profiling abilities, and everyone has their different strength, kind of like in Criminal Minds. I mean, they all kind of have that profiler side to them. In this one, each kid kind of has their own special ability in that sense, and they all work together to help the FBI solve cases. Which is a little like, you have to stretch your imagination, like, because I can't imagine that this would actually happen where we have these 18, 19-year-old kids that are working for the FBI. Like, I just don't see that happening. So you have to suspend your imagination a little bit. But if you can do that, this is such a page turner. I love this. It reads like a TV show, and there's so many twists and turns, and the ending actually got me. Like, I was a little shooketh. I did not see what happened in this book happening, and I love this series as a whole. Like, this series is 4 books long, and when I tell you I binged it so freaking fast, I binged it so freaking fast. Like, I could not read it fast enough. I needed the next book immediately. But even just as a standalone, this one alone, such a page turner, and I know could pull me out of a reading slump if I was ever in one. Number 7 is Students All Over Exhale a Sigh of Relief Knowing They Get a Break from School. Choose a book whose friend group you'd like to spend spring break with. This was so easy. I have actually talked about this before, I think. I feel like I answered another tag question very similar to this, and it's Heartstopper. I don't think there's any sort of question here or any other answer here. I want to be part of this friend group, like, in every single possible way. I want to be friends with every single one of them. I want to be friends with Nick and Charlie. I want to be friends with Tao. I want to be friends with Isaac. Oh my god, Isaac. I feel like me and Isaac would really get along. I want to be friends with Elle. I want to be friends with Tori. Oh my god, are you kidding? Tori, I freaking love her. She makes me laugh so much. I love sarcastic blunt humor because I don't have it, so I really gravitate towards it. So I feel like Tori and I would really get along. She would hate me, but I would really enjoy her company. I just want to be friends with all of them. I need to be immersed in this friend group. It's so inclusive, it's so loving. They all protect each other, they all look out for each other, they all have a good time doing the stupidest things. They're all ridiculously goofy with each other, and I just absolutely adore each and every single one of them. Number 8 is Spring is all about rebirth and blooming. Choose a book that made you grow as a person. This one is really hard because I don't read a lot of like self-help books anymore. I went through a huge phase of that, and it's not something that I gravitate towards now, and I try not to answer like the same thing all the time. The book The Year of Less by Kate Flanders is like my all-time favorite self-help-ish book, but it's about a shopping ban that she did, and I used to have a real like shopaholic problem, and also about minimalism, so I love that book, but I feel like I've said that in so many videos already. So I actually went with a fiction book that really just made me think about life, and that is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This book is filled with like different life lessons in so many different ways, but done in a fictionalized, humorous way. This book is about a monk and a robot who travel together trying to figure out the meaning of life and figure out each other and also just the world. And this is actually a little series. They're little novellas, but they pack a punch, but they are so freaking funny at the same time, like laugh out loud humorous, while also making you think about life in different sort of ways. And if you've ever felt a little bit like lost, whether it's career, whether that's like just figuring out different life decisions, these books are incredible to read around that time because they really do make you stop and think. So I feel like that is what I'm going to go with this answer, is A Psalm for the Wild Built, because I just feel like that is one that I still think about. I love them. I love the characters in there, but I also just really love the life lessons and just that ability to make you like stop in your tracks and think about it. And it could just be that I read it at the perfect time, but I think if anyone is ever feeling a little bit like they're floundering, these books are definitely for you. Number 9 is A Picnic at the Park is the perfect springtime activity. Isn't it just though? I need to do that really soon. Hopefully the rain lets up soon where we can actually have a picnic outside because I'm craving that. Choose a book with a character who you think would pack the best picnic basket. And there was only one answer for this one. It's sitting behind me actually, so let me grab it. And it's Daisy from Magic Lies and Deadly Pies. I mean, she bakes pies for a living. If she can just hold out on the deadly part for me and pack me a lovely picnic basket with also thing from the farm where her little love interest works, like I would absolutely love that. Actually, the two of them together could pack me a picnic basket and I would be so happy about it. I would have so many delicious goods. Oh my goodness. She also works at a diner, so I feel like she could throw in some fries too, and I would just be over the moon. Give me fries, give me pie, give me some good farmer's market food. Dead. Deceased, don't need no more. Daisy needs to pack my picnic basket. Absolutely. Okay, we have the last question, number 10. For many, spring is the first break from the bitterness of winter. Choose a book that is the embodiment of sunshine. And this one, I thought about it because I was like, is this really my answer for this one? But it's the book I kept going back to because it feels like a freaking warm hug for me, and it's The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that more of a fall book? You could say that, sure. I mean, witches don't always have to mean fall time. You could read this any time of year, but this book is the embodiment of a warm hug, which makes me think sunshine because it just made me feel really happy, and I absolutely loved it. This is about a woman named Micah Moon, which, like, the coolest name on the freaking planet, if you ask me. I want my name to be Micah Moon. I love it. I love it so much. Anyways, Micah is a witch, and she has been brought up told that no witches should ever be in the same place at the same time. So she has lived kind of like a recluse her entire life, just on her own and with the help of her mentor occasionally, but for the most part, she's been on her own. And she decides to cure some of that loneliness by posting on social media, pretending to be a witch. It's hilarious. And one day she receives a message that she is being offered a position to come to this house and teach these 3 young witches how to use their magic. And it is a found family story, and it is beautiful and funny and hilarious. We also have some romance in there. This is the witch version of House in the Cerulean Sea. So if you really liked that book, you will love this one. I mean, that book also is just the epitome of sunshine, but I tried to pick something a little bit different. And I just absolutely love this book. I also just love the 3rd act conflict in this book because it's not just about the romance. It kind of involves everyone, and I really love that. I also would highly recommend the audiobook because the voices of the young witches and also just all of the characters are so fun and whimsical. So I definitely would check it out. But this book is fun and whimsical. It's a good time. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. It talks a lot about deeper discussions of like anxiety and again that loneliness, while also being so fun and just that warm hug that you need this time of year. And I just will recommend this book until I'm blue in the face. It's one of my favorites of the year so far, and I just need everyone to read it. There is another one coming as well in this world, something about magical innkeeping. I believe it's coming in September, so time to get on it. I absolutely love it, and I just cannot wait to read the next one and just be immersed again in this world. It's just amazing. And the last little prompt is just to tag your book-loving friends. So honestly, anyone who's watching this, you are tagged. I would love you to do this. If you are looking for a fun, quick video where you want to give some spring recommendations, here you go. Here is a fun tag for you. Again, I will have the original creator and the questions linked in the description. But if you would love to do this video, I would love to see it. Or if you just want to answer the questions in the comments, that is perfectly fine too. You don't even have to answer all of them. If you just want to pick 1 or 2, that would be incredible. Or just leave a few spring book recommendations. That way everyone can kind of get a little bit more, because there's never enough. We can always add to our TBRs. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe if you are not already. Turn on the bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!